Okay, calling all 30 to 50-year-old men to come and join us and talk some WrestleMania as WrestleMania 39 has concluded. I'm Bart Winkler. Hot Take Jake is with us today. Hot Take, thanks for being here. Good to see you.
We'll miss it for the world.
So just a real quick overall, night one, maybe the best wrestling I've watched in a long time. Night two, there were some hiccups with injuries. Some they covered for, some they didn't. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But the main story is the main event, and that's that Roman Reigns has retained. Roman Reigns has retained over Cody Rhodes. I really thought they were going to give it to Cody. I absolutely did. I think, especially after that entrance. So what you're telling me is they used Brody's kid as a prop. Not cool. Also, I figured there'd be some interference, and we got that, out of Sammy and the Usos and stuff. But the solo thing, they did that already. I forget what match it was. It was when he debuted. Was that at SummerSlam? Was that against Drew? Yeah, I think it was against Drew. So at the Clash at the Castle, they did that already. They already did that ending. So I'm up, I'm as upset as a wrestling fan could be, but I think that putting the belt on Cody would have been the right move. I will reserve a little judgment to see if there's like a payoff on Monday night. Maybe Rock comes back, sets up a SummerSlam thing, maybe. But right now, that fucking sucked.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed. And the first thought that went through my head after 1, 2, 3 was that's it. And then the second thought was, did they just Lex Luger Cody Rhodes? Because if you recall, if you're as a long-term fan as I am, back in the day after Hulk Hogan left WWF and they were pushing Lex Luger hard as like the next Hulk Hogan, the American hero, and it looked like he was going to get his moment at SummerSlam, and then they balked a little bit. They had him win by countout, which is weird, and then he never got that momentum back. So the fact that they didn't do it now, I'm just like, if not now, then when? What more could you have done? Going into this, I kind of thought I was sad for Sami Zayn because I thought this should have been his moment. I thought he earned it this past year. But then I was like, okay, you know what? They've done a solid job of getting Cody over in the past few months, and I was skeptical on that. And again, I fell victim to, I got a little emotional watching him with his kid and watching him with Brody Lee's kid. And I'm like, okay, you know what? This is the right move. This is, it's going to be emotional. Like this is a Mania moment about to happen. And then, that could have been the ending to any random backlash or, whatever the crappy pay-per-views in between the big ones are. Like it was pretty much paint by numbers. And that was very disappointing.
Joe is here. Joe joining the stream. You just left a comment. You said Cody is smart enough. You think he chose this. What? Talk to me more about that.
Well, I'm just looking at it from the standpoint of he's proven over the last couple of years how good of a wrestling mind he has, and he knows how history works. He knows the game of the business. It's going to make everybody and their mother tune in to Monday Night Raw tomorrow night. And with the speculation now that they're possibly going to be selling pretty soon, it sounds like there may be some truth to the matter that the parent company of UFC is to acquire them. It's just adding and building to it. And it just everything was pointing towards like the coronation of him tonight. I guess looking at it in retrospect, it just makes too much sense that it did go the way it did.
Some comments here. Ken says, I guarantee Cody chose this. It's heat. My guy Miller Park Minute says the Reigns story should have ended. I think once they got everybody out there, the Usos and Kevin and Sammy, I think we all kind of saw that coming. And then Cody didn't get that pin right away. I thought, okay, that's fine because, let him get it the real way. And then he did a couple of crossroads. And then once Heyman started doing some shit, I was like, uh-oh. And then Solo came back in the hood. I think
missed his cue.
We saw that at Clash of Castle. We saw that already. So if there could have been something else, maybe. It's Rocket Sauce says, even if Cody wins tomorrow, it means less now if Cody wins in some way.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, it had to be the WrestleMania moment, and Roman Reigns walked out of there. If Roman Reigns won Sunday to lose Monday, that's completely stupid. I would have thought an angle could have been Roman wins or Cody wins Sunday, then somehow loses Monday. Like he gets cocky and does an open challenge and then loses. I thought that would have been maybe interesting, but now you just put the belt on Roman again. And there's a couple of things I want. Well, the big thing I want is I want those titles split. And that's annoying me. And it doesn't seem like that's going to happen anytime soon. Anything else for you, Joe? I thought that was a good angle to take.
I mean, do they have any dates coming up at Madison Square Garden?
You think that? Well, they're going to Puerto Rico. They're going to the UK. They're going to Saudi Arabia. I don't think they're going to be in America the rest of the year.
Maybe Bad Bunny's going to win the Universal World Championship.
Yeah, no shit. Who knows?
I don't know. I mean, overall, you know, I was watching as much as I could. I thought, honestly, like the match of the whole, I guess, 2-day weekend, it was probably a combination. I mean, anytime you get, you know, what's his name? Gunther now. I used to call him Walter. Anytime you get him in the ring. Anytime you get him in the ring, you're generally going to see somebody just get the ever-living shit kicked out of him. And he's just so stiff with the way he works. I absolutely adore it. But honestly, I think the Charlotte and Rhea was probably the best match of the whole weekend, in my opinion.
Here's something I'll tell you. There were a lot of good matches that we should talk about and will. However, they will be overshadowed today and in history because Roman beat Cody.
Yep.
I think they will be overshadowed. I think the Roman over Cody decision overshadows everything. Mm-hmm. And if Cody won, we'd say, well, that was just a part of this and this and this. And we'd celebrate some of that other stuff. I got to be honest. I think this was a really terrible decision.
Yeah. And Bart, I mean, just one last question. I mean, for either of you guys, really, but when the Bloodline started just beating the shit out of Cody, and obviously, you know, it ended up being Kevin and Sammy. At one point, were you thinking you were going to hear the Rock's music hit to come and make the save? I mean, did you feel like that may have possibly going to happen at all, just because there were whispers that his movie that
I think if we get the Rock, it might be tomorrow.
I didn't think that. I thought it would have just been too out of left field. He hasn't been worked into the story, but my cousin that I've been texting back and forth with the past few days, another big wrestling fan, he made a great point, and he was like, normally he'd be against shenanigans like this, but he thought it kind of would have been fitting if Sammy would have hit that haluva kick and then Cody got the pin on that, and have Sammy be the one to officially end the Bloodline. Like, I feel like I wanted him to get that big win, but this would have been a great consolation prize to be like, I ended you, and then you can go any number of ways after that.
Joe, good to talk to you, buddy. Thanks for hopping on. If you want to, you know, just sit around, feel free. If you got anything else to say, raise your hand.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I'll let you get back to doing your thing. I'll just hang up and listen.
All right. See you, buddy.
All right. Miss you on 1250, buddy.
Hey, this week, 9 to 11 a.m., I'm filling in for Bill Ryder. It's on 1250.
All right. Well, good. At least maybe you'll talk about the fucking, you know, fucking Bucks and all the other teams that 90.
I probably won't. I'm going to be talking about women's college basketball. But maybe if you call in, I will.
I'll take what I can get, Bart. I'll take what I can get.
All right. That sounds good.
Thanks, dude.
Okay. So I'm going to bring in, let's see. I'll remove Joe from the stream. I'll bring in Austin in a second. And Landmark, I'm going to bring you in too. So I got Hot Take Jake, Landmark, and Austin.
Austin 216.
We are reacting to this not less than 15 minutes after it happened. And in those 15 minutes, I've actually gotten more upset about what happened tonight. I thought it was a possibility, and I understand they could have done it, but there's got to be now a better payoff. And I'm not sure what a better payoff is than Cody winning. So maybe Cody, you know, still tries to finish the story. Maybe he does it at SummerSlam, but I'm not sure what the better payoff is than this. I mean, this is WrestleMania. Landmark, I'll start with you. Your thoughts. We're talking Cody Roman.
So here's my thought on this, right? Like, I was watching this thing and I felt the air go out of the room when Roman wins, but that's part of the story, because in wrestling all the time, you're wanting to see the babyface win and chase, and you're wanting to see that heel get their comeuppance, right? So if Cody wins, great, he's the champion. Now tomorrow, you have nobody who can touch Cody. There are no heels on this roster that would even be able to step to Cody and have a good story. It's to where now tomorrow night you want to see Cody get his comeuppance on Solo. You want to see him continue to finish the story. So there's more meat on this bone. And yes, to the folks before, I was thinking that The Rock was going to show up, but he didn't. So, we'll just have to see how it plays out. But I think there's still some meat on this bone. Obviously, people are tired of the ref bumps and all of that in the bloodline matches, but I think there's more meat on this bone, and I think Cody will get it. But they really, really, really tried to set us up tonight with all of he's going to give the weight belt to little Brody, and there's his whole family. And I even sent a message to my friend, and I was like, they're going to make us all feel like assholes when he loses, aren't they?
You can't use Brody's kid as a prop, dude.
Right.
I guess I kind of disagree that there's a lot of meat left on this bone. I mean, we're going on 3 years now. And if there's meat on the bone, it's like when you have a chicken wing and you're just trying to suck the little entrails off whatever's left. Like, we have to give them every opportunity because so far in this story, they've pretty much nailed it. A thought that just occurred to me is, like you said, maybe the split is coming. Maybe they are going to give Sammy one and Roman one, and then Jay is going to be the catalyst for Roman taking the downfall. He'll finally see the light after what Sammy whispered to him last night.
I hope something big happens on Raw. I was reading some of the tweets that I got in here. And first of all, David Hero, friend of show, he says, WWE was not going to let an AEW top guy come in and run the table all the way through Reigns. If Cody wins, who's his first challenger? Rollins isn't going to go 0-4 to Cody. Gunther isn't losing. Finn Balor just lost. Finn Balor sucks. More on that later. He says Cody will be champ by or before SummerSlam. So he still thinks it will go to Cody at some point, and maybe it does. I just think that tonight was what they were building for. And if there is something tomorrow, I hope that, like, I don't want to, it's like bitching about the book before there's still a couple of chapters left. I want to see something big at Mania. And whether it doesn't have to be The Rock coming back. It can be, the bloodline being like, hey, we lost. We came and helped you. What's in it for us? Jey Uso turn on Roman. Something that gets something that pops louder than Shane McMahon's ACL. I want to
say you got Shane. That's big, right?
I want to see something better than that. Austin, your thoughts, my friend.
Hey, man, that that was the first live wrestling I've watched in a couple years.
Did you watch last night? Did you watch Saturday?
Nah, I missed it.
Saturday was fucking epic.
Yeah, no, I missed that.
Sunday was kind of not.
I don't know. I was talking to you, I don't know, 2 months ago. So I'm rewatching the WWE from started in 95, so I'm like 97 right now. And that main event actually, I actually felt like I did back then. Like, this is a good freaking match. And dude, it kind of sucks that Cody lost that. Like, I think there was a little too much interference. Once those other guys came in and helped him out, I thought that would have been like the signal that he was going to win. And now,
I wonder if they were going to go to Cody and then at some point they switched. I wonder
kind of felt like that.
I wonder if this was all set up for
Vince
Cody.
Is back in town,
and within
baby.
the last 4 days or so, they thought, let's do this instead.
Yeah, and as somebody that doesn't watch a whole bunch of it, that match, I think I'm going to start watching live now to see what's all going on. Like, I'll do my catch-ups on the old stuff, but man, that was such an awesome main event. That actually
was a good main event, but in the terms of where it was being told in the story, I think, 964 days of him holding these belts, I think we are ready for a Cody switch.
Yeah, I'm what I didn't like about that is that they had The Undertaker break his WrestleMania streak, but yet Roman couldn't have lost in that figure four.
He tapped out, by the way. I mean, that was.
It looked like it with his left hand, didn't it?
Yeah, I thought he was tapping.
Yeah, so did I.
That's what it looked like. Landmark, any other thoughts for you?
I mean, I thought overall the weekend was good. Like you said, I think night one had the better matches as far as the storytelling goes. Tonight kind of felt like, hey, here's the other stuff. And then Drew, Sheamus, and Gunther. That match was just that was fun. But it was basically that match, Roman and Cody, and then the rest of it was like, it's fine. But I really like night one. Like Rhea and Charlotte did well. The tag match, that's the first tag match to main event for titles in any WrestleMania. So that was cool. So overall, I think it's good. And, they've got us hooked, right? We're mad. If Cody won, everybody's like, yay. And then tomorrow we're like, hey, there's that guy from NXT, Braun Breaker or whatever. But now everybody's going to watch because they're
Braun
mad.
Breaker's going to challenge Roman.
I don't know.
I guess I will say now that as I was walking downstairs to start this, I thought, since Cody lost, there might be a few more eyeballs tonight. I was thinking that. Ken is going crazy in the comments. He says, they fooled all of you because I didn't get what I want means it's bad. You saw something big. Look how pissed you are. I would have thought. Guess you were wrong, which is the point. Ken, what's the deal? We're just talking about what we think. It's okay. Relax.
Ken
we're not like going to destroy property, Mad. We wanted something to happen. It didn't. We're reacting to it. We're going to watch tomorrow. We're going to go on with our lives. It's okay.
They're just lucky
get this mad like when the Packers lose a big game or this
is something we like. It's a little different.
Ken, jump on, man. Let's talk about this.
Yeah. All right. Landmark or Austin, anything else for you guys?
No, I got my points out. I'm gonna watch you guys on the YouTube. Thank you.
All right.
I'll drop off too. Have a good
Landmark, I love that you've been coming on, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to get on here more, trying to push myself out of my comfort zone. And, obviously we got Wave Playoff Soccer to talk about there, the number 1 seed in their Eastern Division. So I'm going to log off before you kick me off. Have a good night,
y'all. You want to do post for that?
You're not going to want to do a post for that. I know it. But
I went to when the Wave won the championship a couple of years ago. I went and I was like, oh, that was pretty cool. And Landmark's like, that was like the greatest moment of my life.
I was going to offer to write you some content for the website because you're like, I need content. But I was like, you don't want Wave content. It's fine.
So, I haven't even looked at my website in 4 weeks.
Well, if you want content, you know where to find me.
Okay. All right, Landmark. Thanks, buddy.
See y'all.
There's a
let me just say, I gotta say something. Omaha Steaks, promo code Bart, $30.
Oh yeah, get that meat. You want to feel like Gunther or Drew or Sheamus.
I put a logo up on YouTube. Omaha Steaks, $30 off.
No, I wanted to say my cousin made a good point to me again. Texted back and forth with me. He's like, if you look at the way they stacked the cards for night 1 and night 2, night 1 had all the long-term stories, and night 2 had all the stuff that seemed kind of thrown together at the last minute. So it was really weird the way they decided to stack that. So I thought they because of that, I thought they tipped their hat that Cody was going to win to give you that, big moment. Tim Shea is bored. Well, what else is new, Tim?
Yeah. Eric from Miller Park Minute. I live in an Arrested Development subsection where all the houses are the same. So Eric's joining me from one of those houses. What's up, Eric?
Wow. Honestly, I thought we were going to get something here. When he held him for that third crossroads, I was like, oh God, it's gonna happen. And then they have a good way of doing that with WrestleMania main events over the years. And that really bothers me. It's like they build it up like it's gonna go the way everybody wants and everybody's gonna go home happy. And then we just fall flat.
Well, maybe, night 1, everybody did go home happy. But I think night 2, if you chose to go to night 2 over night 1, you chose to go to night 2 because you thought you were going to see Cody beat Roman. This was
right.
This was a swerve. Cody was, we all thought, going to win. That's what it seemed like was going to happen. And Alex says he's not mad that Roman won. He's kind of mad how it ended. So stupid. And so I just wonder, sometimes, and this is a classic Vince thing, sometimes when everybody thinks something's going to happen, he doesn't give it to them. I'm still surprised Daniel Bryan won when he did. 9 years ago. I'm so surprised they actually gave it to him.
I also had a thought like midway through the match when they were going back and forth with the pinfalls. I was like, well, wait a second. Why did they have him do the thing with his family and young Brody in the beginning? Wouldn't that be the moment for the end? Like, he specifically went there, you know, he was going to go in the ring, and then he stopped and he went there and he acknowledged his family and held his little girl. And I was like, this ain't going the way we think it's going.
I just, the thing I don't like the most about it, I think, is that it was a solo finish. That Solo in a hoodie, because he's already done that. Oh, Jake, you're in my house now too. Because he's already done that. They've already done that. And so I didn't like that they did it again.
I said it was just paint by numbers. You know, you think WrestleMania, you're going to get something either big or creative or different or all of the above, and you kind of got none of it.
Well, and I have a question too. Like, what's with all the, you know, like the pedigree and the rock bottom were in there, and I don't know how many times I heard him use the code breaker tonight, which is Jericho's former finisher. Like, well, are we? There was a lot of nods to other wrestlers, and I was like, why are we doing this? That are you guys that are not involved? I got the American Dream stuff. That made sense. And the rock bottom, okay, yeah, that goes along with the Rock and Roman storyline that they're eventually going to give to us. But what are we doing here with these other finishers that are now so popularly mixed into these matches?
Yeah, that was a little. I didn't because the pedigree, like Seth has been doing that. I don't know why Cody did it.
Right.
God, the more that I'm just like looking on Twitter to see if there's anything else being said or anything. This sucks. I'm not happy. I'm not happy with it.
Me either.
It was setting up to be such a great event too. Like, yeah, I mean, and like you said, Bart, you know, nobody's going to remember. Well, I shouldn't say nobody, but you know, a lot of what
it
ruins
the event. It ruins the weekend. It ruins the weekend.
Any progress that they made is almost backwards now. Because you built two great stories, that of, you know, Sami Zayn, and Sami Zayn had that moment where he could have won it at Rumble, and then, or was it Elimination Chamber? Elimination Chamber, sorry. And then you do the same with Cody, only to just piss it away.
Troy says, I'd accept Roman's wins if he could win clean, but he's one of these stereotypical heels. Yeah, he wins with a lot of help.
Uh-huh.
Jesus Christ, Jake.
Well, and I did want to say too, like, so I was skeptical when Cody came back. I'm like, okay, I think, you know, the stuff that people really got sick of in AEW, it's just going to happen in WWE. And I was 100% wrong. He got over big time as a babyface. Sami Zayn, on his own, after doing the Jackass stuff last year, got over on his own as a babyface. That was 2 moments that they kind of like squandered. Like, when would the time ever be better for those 2 guys? And they just kind of went with the status quo. Very weird.
Well, any other thoughts on the weekend, Eric?
I really did like the what they did with the Bianca Belair match, as much as I thought that was going to be a stinker of a match. I really thought she actually put together a good match with Asuka, and they're both good wrestlers, but at the end of the day, it's like, you know, just another thing that they do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Not cool. Dude, this Ken guy, are you Roman Reigns? Seriously, relax.
He's like Q with Giannis, or like Ryan Horvat with Aaron Rodgers. Guys can't do anything wrong.
Bootsy says Triple H looks like he's going to cry at the press conference thing.
There was one more question I had to ask. Was that Snoop Dogg totally? Do you guys think that was Snoop Dogg totally just improvising with?
He had to have
got hurt.
Shane got hurt, and that was not supposed to happen. And then
Miz was
Snoop
trying
Dogg
to figure out what to do, and then I think someone must have told Snoop, "Do the people's elbow."
Is Shane McMahon not the weirdest dude ever? Like,
how does Shane McMahon do all of these great death-defying stunts, and then that's what pops his ankle.
Falls off the Titantron how many times?
Well, like he hits the curtain. He's already sweating like he's Chris Middleton, and like gets in the ring, and then poor Miz has to sell his punches, and then just boom, like weird dude.
All right, Eric. Good to see you.
You going opening day? Have you
I might get
decided
out
yet?
there, actually.
What?
I might get out to the game now.
All right. Well, stop by. Message me on Twitter.
All
I'll
right,
be
see you,
tailgating.
All right.
All right. See you later, man.
I'm gonna bring in Dylan. He wanted to talk a little bit. Dylan, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, boys?
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. What are you thinking?
So I also hated that. I felt like it was a perfect moment for Cody to kind of not necessarily passing of the guard, just to kind of start fresh. I do think they were going to be a little disappointed to have a top AEW star come in and just take a belt off of who's built up to be one of the most dominant champions ever. I think maybe they just want a little bit more time to develop something in the storyline to be able to split the belts easier. I personally think that's maybe why Cody didn't win tonight. I don't know. I really thought it was the perfect night to do it. Like you guys have said, especially after his family and the Brody and whatnot. It just seems weird.
Yeah. So Brody, I mean, his father was in WWE. Luke Harper.
Right. Yep.
He passed away this last year.
Yeah. Yep.
And I feel like they used him as a prop.
Right. Yeah. No. It felt like one of those like. It feels wrong to do that and then not have it go Cody's way. It feels immoral.
It's not
Frank
like
asked,
WWE really.
What's that, Jake?
I was gonna say it's not like WWE has a great history of showing class anyway, so I guess
True.
that's to be
That's very
expected.
true.
Frank asked, do you think a possible deal with Endeavor made them change their mind? They're the company that owns UFC. Looks like they're going to buy into WWE. I don't think so. I don't think so, but it does. I don't know. It seemed like this was the way to Cody, and they didn't do it. So now you wonder what's next for Cody, and then what's next for Roman. Like who is actually going to beat Roman? Whoever beats Roman's a star.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they're saving that for Braun Breaker, who lost in NXT and will be coming up. If you bring The Rock back, okay, well, The Rock beat Roman, let's say, but then who's going to beat The Rock? It's like he's never going to be around. Matt says, figure out a way to split the belts by SummerSlam. Roman's not going to want to give up the belts.
I think it's
Sami Zayn. I guess Sami Zayn. I think the guy to beat Roman at this point is Jey Uso. The guy who started this whole thing, the whole storyline started with him. So at some point, Jay's going to have to turn. I don't know when that is.
I don't think Jay is the guy that beats Roman. I think Jay is the guy that costs Roman. That's where I think this is headed.
So who beats Roman?
Right.
Probably Cody.
When?
They're just going to run it back. SummerSlam, could be, could maybe Backlash. I just think, I think where they're going with the Jey Uso thing is whatever Sammy said to him before that last Huluva kick, that's going to be like his moment of clarity. And he's going to realize that, I've been being used. This has always been about Roman. They're going to go that dramatic angle. And, maybe we're overthinking it. Maybe it's just they're going to run it back. Cody wins. And Jay ends the story that kind of started with him.
Dylan, anything else you want to mention?
No, one thing, Eric was kind of saying how we're still using everyone's finishers, and it seems like nobody has their own finishing moves every now and then. One thing I think would be cool, and my dad goes off about this all the time, so he's probably brainwashed me into thinking it, but they never use older superstars for managers anymore. Like they'd always have somebody come back, and I think that's a good way of building a character up. Is if The Rock were to come back and, like for his daughter, for instance, if the WWE acknowledges that that's his daughter and lets him be her manager or something along those lines. Not necessarily that in particular.
I don't know, man. I don't know if The Rock is going to come back for, Mr. Fuji money or money.
That was just an example of how to get superstars.
I know. I'm busting balls.
I got you. No, that's all for me.
All right, thanks, Dylan. Good to have you on here, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
That's Dylan. Good to talk to him. Again, here with Hot Take Jake. All right, I'm looking at some more things on Twitter. Sean Grande. I'm just people that I fought like. This is the voice of the Boston Celtics. Sean Grande says, "I was seconds away from calling that the greatest WrestleMania ever, but not with that finish. Spectacular, epic performances. It's the biggest match of the year. It deserved a clean finish." The response came from James Kincaid, who does work for the Warriors. He says, "And it deserved the right winner. Cody winning was a layup. They blew it. Absolutely brutal."
Well, and I kind of agree. Like, even if you are going to have Roman win it, I think it does way more for the story to have him win clean. Like, make that part of Cody's arc. Like, I put everything I had into this and I still couldn't do it. You know, that gives you more character development. But as he said, they do the paint by numbers, solo Sikoa interference. Like, it really, like, that's the best you could do. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
So if they're going to have Cody win at SummerSlam, then what are they doing with the titles until then? Who's Roman facing at Backlash, if he even wrestles? I read that he was going to take off till SummerSlam. Like, Roman doesn't fight enough to have the titles anymore. And I do think that him being there gives it a big fight feel. And there is something to that. I do like when it's a big fight feel. I do like that. But the time, he served his story. This should have been Cody. Ken, you're not going to convince me. Tonight should have been Cody.
Yeah, I mean, if they weren't going to do Sammy, then yes, Cody should have been the guy. So I'm fully in agreement with you there. I mean, we'll have to wait and see, but I don't understand where they go from here. Just kind of hoping for the best at this point. But I do wonder, the rumors that Vince is back, like, does this play into any of this?
I don't know. It's hard to know. It's hard to know if Vince wasn't back, if this would have been a different outcome.
Because the Vince rumors, they started so small and then just like they keep trickling in more and more that he's getting more and more involvement. And then you hear that, well, Raw's been going through rewrites a lot, which is a Vince staple. And it's just like, it was going so well.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I think they could have done better than this. Okay, let me just rip through some of the other matches. If anybody else wants to comment on Roman Cody, we've done a healthy half hour on it, which I think it deserves even a little more time. But we'll rip through some of these other matches. Night one started with Austin Theory against John Cena. Austin won by nefarious means. I thought maybe there was a 5% chance they give the belt to Cena. Doesn't open challenge Monday. Loses to Austin Theory. I don't like that he won dirty, but that's a nice notch on Austin's belt, and they're building up Austin Theory, so I don't mind that Austin Theory won that match.
I have a theory about Theory, because I don't see it with him. Like, I know that they're really, really high on him, but to me, he hasn't shown me really anything more than generic heel. I'm cocky. I'm young. I'm the best. But my theory on Theory is he's the Andrew Luck of wrestling. Because if you remember Andrew Luck coming into the NFL, he was being touted as the best football prospect ever seen. And I don't think he ever really was. My theory was that one guy said it and everybody just kind of went along with it. Now, Andrew Luck was a great prospect, but like best quarterback prospect of all time, never saw that. But I feel like it's just kind of like, yeah, we're high on Theory. Yeah, Theory. Well, why? What has he shown you that shows you he has this great upside?
Fair points. So then there was the 4-way showcase, which these tag team matches were like, they could have actually had WrestleMania be 1 4-hour show one night, and it would have been like the greatest thing ever. But these guys
like
did
an NXT
perform.
Show.
Yeah, these guys did show up. They did perform, and the Street Profits got the win. And I think that match was good. It was an entertaining match, and so I have no problem with it.
It was needed. I felt like the Cena Theory match was a bit of a letdown. So I feel like the big Spot Fest match was needed and it got the crowd hyped.
Tim Shea is joining us at this point. You don't watch wrestling.
No, I'm just here to listen.
You look like you're ready to help The Undertaker in his entrance or something.
Oh, I love The Undertaker. I know who that is. He had Didn't he have a record of like 20-0 or something? I don't know.
He was 21-0, and Brock Lesnar beat him. Ken's back. He says, Bart, serious question. What's wrong with heels cheating to win? That's the point, is it not? No. Why does every heel have to cheat to win, first of all? Second, they already did the solo hoodie finish. They already did that. They already did it.
It's like if you play the WWE video game and you do the story mode, eventually the same stories start repeating because they just run out of content. So maybe that's what's happening with the Roman thing.
Not every heel should be cheating. Nick says Ken is a heel. Yeah, Ken. So Tim, did you watch any WrestleMania or no?
No, I don't. I don't have money to afford that. I can't afford it.
Were you shredding with Jack Black
$5 a
tonight?
month.
What?
I would have given you my Peacock login, Tim.
I'm sorry.
I said, were you shredding with Jack Black tonight on the guitar?
I do watch wrestling, but I go in spurts. So right now I'm not in a spurt. But there was a time where I would watch it, like probably the John Cena and Rock years, when they were battling it out. Probably 6 years ago.
Okay,
sure. It was like 10.
Remember the Raw anonymous Raw general manager?
Oh, that was the worst shit ever.
I remember that.
Yeah.
So
that was terrible.
So
that was when
I go in
WWE had no urgency at that point. They were just like, we can literally put out whatever bullshit we want.
The guest host era was really bad too.
Except Bob Barker.
Yeah, except Bob Barker. Okay. Seth and Logan Paul. Logan Paul, if he wanted to, would be a WWE Hall of Famer as a wrestler.
Yes, I was waiting for you to get to this. It drives me crazy because from somebody who used to do wrestling, it's really, really freaking hard. And it drives me crazy how good he is at it. Not just like in the ring, he gets it from a character standpoint. He knows how to sell. He knows how to do the facial expressions. His timing is amazing. It makes no sense. But I feel like if he committed 2 years to being like a full-time wrestler, he's a world champion heel.
Yeah, I'm not a Logan Paul guy, but I think that his character is really great. His buddy KSI in the Prime thing was hilarious.
That was so good.
I mean, it was funny. It was good. Logan Paul's great. He's having these big matches. He doesn't win, but no, it doesn't matter. He's good at this. He is good at it from every aspect you just mentioned. So when he watches or when he wrestles, I watch. That's where it is. Trish, Lita, Becky beat Damage Control. I fell asleep during that match. I'm not shitting you.
Yeah, this match or the Cena Theory match I thought was the worst match of night one. I mean, nothing on night one was like bad or unwatchable, but I made the comment during that match that Lita wrestles like how I feel Logan Paul should wrestle. Like she's just robotic and mechanical, and she had no facial expressions and no selling. And I felt bad for Becky Lynch because she is still just exudes star power and charisma, and I feel like she deserved better than what she got this year for Mania.
Ray beat Dominic. I was kind of surprised by that. I thought Ray would put Dominic over, but I think that Dominic, of that whole Judgment Day, Finn, I think we'll talk about Finn in a second. I don't think he's like benefited from it. I suppose Rhea has. I don't think Damian Priest has. And Dominic has. Dominic, he was awful. He was awful. He was bad. He was trying to get over as a face. This whole prison shtick is great theater. And maybe it continues a feud with his dad, or there's possible war games in the future or something. But I like Dominic. I watch. Okay, he's a guy I don't fast forward for, and I give him a lot of credit for that because this could have been completely the other way.
Well, what he is when he first came in, he was basically like Rocky Maivia, just smiling baby face. Come on, guys. Yeah, let's do it. Second generation or third or whatever it is. But yeah, he's really, really come into his own, embracing this heel character. And I thought the entrances for both guys were amazing for that match, with Ray getting the Eddie tribute with Snoop in the car, and then Dominic with the whole prison Dom video that they played and him coming out in the cuffs. Like,
so good.
That was good shit.
So good. The next match, then you saw Rhea defeat Charlotte. That was a really good match. The Rhea Charlotte storyline didn't do a lot for me. I think that Rhea winning a title, that's some good progression there. We'll see what happens, but I'm not like the women's storylines were not popping for me as maybe they've done so much in the past. But that was a good match, deserving. If it was the main event, would have been a great main event. There was obviously a better main event option, but I thought that was a good match, and Rhea won.
Yeah, I was actually quite surprised because my prediction going into this weekend that I was banking on was that they're going the double turn. Austin and Bret Hart from WrestleMania 13. Rhea's going babyface. Charlotte's going heel. The crowd is going to treat it that way anyways. And the match kind of felt like that. Like it was the baby heel dynamic changed, but they didn't fully embrace it. So maybe in the near future, Rhea Ripley's going to go heel because I think her time in the Judgment Day, pretty much like, what else can you do at this point? Now you're the champ. They're not even on the same show. So maybe she'll get kicked out in favor of another woman that needs a push.
Then you had McAfee come out.
Oh, God.
And beat The Miz. And I'll tie this into The Miz night too. So The Miz as a host, like when WrestleMania as a host, I feel like that's a huge insult. The New Day had the host one year. Like, just give these guys a match. So McAfee beats The Miz. George Kittle's there. Okay. I don't think a lot of people knew who George Kittle was. I think some people thought there's just some guy in the ring now.
They probably thought he was Gronk.
That too. But then I want to tie it into what happened on Sunday, because then Shane McMahon comes out and The Miz is supposed to lose again. And we talked about it a little bit, but Snoop Dogg, that audible is going to go down as like, there'd be a lot of wrestlers that just like freak the fuck out and don't know what to do. But because you saw him, because the camera got away from Shane. So right away, you're like, all right, they're throwing up the X here. Something's not right because they will not show Shane. And they were showing The Miz. And at one point, you did see Miz like look like, what do you want me to do? And then Snoop comes back in, gives him real ass punches, and then does the people's elbow. So great on Miz, great on Snoop. They took a moment, and I don't know if they like, all right, if for some reason Shane gets hurt, here's the audible. Because Snoop seemed to be like, all right, it's time to go. I thought that was cool tonight.
Consummate pro. I do feel bad for Miz. This guy's a two-time WWE champion. He's getting beat in a squash match by a punter. And then he was about to get squashed by 60-year-old man or whatever Shane is at this point that hasn't wrestled in 2 years. It's The Miz, but I still feel like he deserves better than that. Like, I feel like there's so many just ribs on Miz now. Like, we don't have anybody to do the job. Just throw Miz in there.
Tim, your thoughts?
Yep. I'm leaving. Goodbye.
Hey.
Yes.
Aww.
There's no reason for me to.
I want to go to the game. Are you helping me?
Yes. We'll talk.
Okay.
Have fun tomorrow.
I'm going to the game.
I have a ticket for you.
Thanks.
The Bucks play tomorrow.
No, the Brewers, the real team in Milwaukee. Talk to you guys later. Bye.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. And then there was a tag match. The tag match, which I thought was excellent storytelling all the way throughout. I wondered if they had a certain winner there, if it would affect the Roman Cody match, but they did get the tags off the belt, the bloodline. And tonight it wouldn't have made a difference. It would not have made a difference. The result of that match would not have made a difference on how Cody and Roman finished. They still came out. The other guys still came out. Ryan says, I'm a female. I can't make up your mind. It's 2023. That's sexist. Also, what the fuck are you saying?
Peter Bukowski's really pissed right now.
In a triple threat. Adam says Cody is Triple H is alluding to Cody winning something soon. Well, he should probably just win tonight. Your thoughts on the tag match, Jake?
I was going into it. I thought, they're trying to give Sammy and Kevin something. I still think they fumbled. They should have changed their mind. I'll never get off that hill that it should have been Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns. If you would have just held off from that Elimination Chamber match, I think the emotion in the crowd and the story would have been that much more than it was tonight with Cody. And that's just my opinion. But if we take all of that away, it was just a damn good tag match. And, I'm not ashamed to say I got emotional watching it at the end, because knowing these two guys, what they've been through as friends for 20 years, the real life stuff kind of coming into the story there. And, I think I sent you a video, Bart, and it's Max Landis saying most of wrestling is awful, but when it's good, it's so fucking
When
great.
wrestling is good, there's nothing as good.
Exactly. And I don't know why that is, but a part of me feels like when you get a great story and you're watching wrestling, something that you know is choreographed and scripted, and you forget for that moment that you're watching something that's scripted.
I was pacing around Cody tonight like it was game 6.
And it makes you feel like a kid again. And you can't recreate that. I've never gotten that from any other or entertainment avenue, whether it be television, movies, whatever. That's what makes wrestling magic, and that's why I'll never give it up. I don't care what anybody says. It was a perfect exclamation point to a phenomenal night of wrestling. And I thought, man, they're going to have a really, really tough night to follow tomorrow.
And they did. It started with Brock Lesnar and Omos. I don't know what the reason was for this match. What I love about Brock is that if he doesn't go last, he goes first. He goes first, gets the fuck out of there.
He had the car running. He probably went right from the tarmac in his gear, went to the stadium, went right back to the tarmac so he could get on his jet, go back to North Dakota and, kill bears or whatever he was up to. But yeah, it was better than I thought it would be. I thought Omos showed a little bit better than I thought he would. There was no reason for the match to happen. Omos doesn't look good after it. Brock doesn't look better after it. So it was filler to get Brock a WrestleMania payday is what I believe.
I think the main thing to take away from night 2 is that Stacy Keibler is the hottest girl that's ever existed in the world.
Her and Trish reverse age. I don't get it.
Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler won that thing. I don't have any comments.
Yeah, I think that was probably the worst match of the entire weekend, or maybe not the worst, but just there was nothing to be invested in. It was just literally get these people on the card, get them a payday.
Gunther beating Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. I love the Sheamus and Drew stuff. They're friends. But they fight, and I think that's always good storytelling. I think they did the right thing to keep it on Gunther. I think building him up is a good move.
Yeah, there was, I think the obvious thing to do was they had the story about Sheamus. The only title he's never won in WWE was the Intercontinental, and he's been after it. I really thought they were going to do some sort of thing where Sheamus had Gunther beat, and then Drew came in to steal it, and they were going to have a great feud over the summer of Drew and Sheamus again, because how can you go wrong with those two? And that would build to a Gunther world title push. But I was fine with Gunther winning. He's restored the honor of what, used to be like the must-see championship in WWE. So, the run of Gunther and Imperium continues. So I'm excited for that. And I thought it was funny that Imperium's WrestleMania moment was they had to stand on the stage, Winnie the Poohing it with, the wearing jackets, but like undies. Like, it's just a funny look.
Bianca and Asuka.
You didn't like it?
Well, it was a fine match. I like both wrestlers a lot. I just didn't get enough of a story in terms of that match mattering as much as it did. And I like that Bianca, it's been a year now for her. Didn't she win last WrestleMania?
Yeah.
It's been a year now for her. So I'm all about keeping it on Bianca. I love Asuka. I just that particular match didn't seem to have a reason to exist.
Yeah, it was definitely the thrown together championship match of the weekend. Asuka in general, they had her debut her new look with the Royal Rumble, and if the Murder Clown look, I'm really disappointed with what they've done with that, because while it's a new look, her character when she would do that in Japan was basically like a weird mix of the Fiend and like a Gunther, just an unstoppable, crazy, unbeatable force. And so they brought it into WWE. I'm like, this is cool. They're going to do something new with Asuka. She could use it, and she just kind of same old Asuka. So it was a fine match. Bianca, I don't think, has really elevated much since she won the title. So I was kind of hoping they would give it to Asuka, but we'll see what happens next, I guess.
One more, and then I'm going to play some comments from Triple H after Edge and Finn Balor. So I'm not into Finn. I've never been into Finn. I didn't watch NXT when he was like the first overall pick. He was the first Universal Champion. I'm not into the Demon character. I don't like it. This Edge Judgment Day feud is bad. And then Finn gets bloodied. And so if they're going to check on him, that's fine. Like, he got a ladder to the face. I know some people are like, oh, in the old days, they'd let him bleed. And in AEW, guys are blading a little too much in AEW, Moxley. But what I didn't like about it was that as they're tending to Finn, Edge has to do something. Edge is like trying to figure out what to do. You're basically like, all right, Edge, you have 2 minutes where you can't interact with Finn, do something. And so he starts looking under the ring for weapons. I thought, that's something.
Or coded weapons at that.
But then one of the refs come over and say, stop doing that. What was that supposed to do? So I didn't like that part of it.
That's just one of those things where it was unfortunate. At first I thought, okay, this is the fake angle so they can open the door and now they can go outside of the cell, because they, usually you get that in a Hell in a Cell. They figure out a way to get out of the cell. But no, I guess it was legit. It was weird that, I assumed that they stitched him up or glued him up or whatever, because you didn't see a ton of blood on his face. But I did, when I saw that they weren't cutting at all to Finn, I'm like, oh shit, this is real. What a bummer in the Hell in a Cell.
Same, it just happened right after Shane.
Yeah. I thought the match was pretty good. Like, I don't know that the cell was needed for any of that. But my guess is that they didn't really have any gimmick matches at the pay-per-view. So like, well, we got to do something. So let's bring out the cell. We haven't done that in a while.
All right, a couple things. Here's how Roman walked up to the press conference.
A lot of shocked faces in here, huh? A lot of surprised looking faces, huh? Like a bunch of idiots now, huh?
A lot of shocked faces, bunch of idiots now.
By the way, Bart, I timed Roman's entrance from the moment his music hit to the moment his music stopped. 7 minutes and 20 seconds.
It was a good 45 minutes from the Hell in a Cell to that other match.
Oh, man, it's brutal.
All right. CJ Folger has tweeted out, this is Triple H explaining why Cody and Roman ended the way it did.
Say about that is, it's always interesting to me when people say, how could that happen, or how could they do that in that moment? And it's almost perfectly spelled out in this story. I need to finish the story. In the WWE, the story never finishes. Tomorrow night on Raw, it's sold out Crypto Arena. The story continues. The story takes another chapter. We just got to the end of a chapter, but the story continues, and that's where this gets interesting to me. So, I think that is what is the most amazing thing about our business. The story never ends, and.
Okay, so so what's the next chapter?
I mean, I would assume that he's alluding to, either a title switch on Monday, or not a title switch, but a title split. Or maybe they're going to do some weird run it back scenario, but it's still like, let's say they do that. Let's say, okay, because of the shenanigans, we're going to have a rematch. That's going to be our main event of Raw. Cody wins. Okay.
Not the same.
No, isn't that like, I don't know what that's like. It's just not the same. You're doing it for the sake of doing it, and it's very Vince Russo-esque. Like, bro, it's a swerve, bro. Okay, what do you really get out of it?
Well, it's a dusty finish for Cody Rhodes.
Well, there you go. And,
a little more from Triple H. This was a follow-up question. I haven't heard any of this before I play it.
How much do you wrestle with the idea that we might be passing up an all-time moment here to really make somebody in favor of, as you alluded to before, trying to drag things out and build on the story?
Yeah, so what I would say to that is, first, to drag things out, sounds negative, right? It's not drag things out, it's tell the story. Right, and so it's telling a story. Where do you want to go with the story, and how do you want to get there? And I think in the moment you think like, oh my God, I can't believe. Right, if you're watching a movie and you thought every scene in the movie was the last scene in the movie, the entire movie, you'd be like, I can't believe they just did that. It was the worst movie ever. And then you go, oh wait, there's more. Right? Oh wait, there's more. How much do we weigh that out? Every single moment of every single day. Some days when I'm trying to sleep and I can't sleep, it's because I'm weighing that out in my brain, right? And I wish that I could sleep instead of weighing it out of my brain. It's all you think about. It's all you, right? Well, if you're going to be good at this, it consumes your every moment of everything you do. It's a feel, and you feel it. Sometimes you feel wrong is wrong. So sometimes your feeling is wrong. Sometimes your feeling is right. You know, but I do know that it always continues, and the story doesn't end here. So, you know, some people will look at it and say, like,
"Nah, I'm done with this. It's a bad decision. This is a bad decision. This is a bad decision. This is a bad decision. Who's going to beat Roman? Who's going to beat Roman? Gunther? That's the only guy left. Who's beating Roman? I'm pretty sure they had Cody winning this, and they fucking just did a swerve to do a swerve within the last week.
Yeah, I mean, you know, maybe it's because, you know, this is the obvious thing. Everybody's going to see it coming. But there are times where the obvious thing is the right thing, and that's why it is the obvious thing.
Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30.
Yeah, and they kind of got bullied into that by the crowd. Here's what's the unfortunate thing is, too. Roman's run so far has been great, right? It's what his character needed. And is the crowd going to start getting go away heat with Roman? Not like the good kind of heat that you want, but just like, okay,
he's had great heat this whole time. I agree. This was bullshit. This sucked. This was a bad finish. This was a bad decision. I am angry. You know what? Before I told Ken, it's just fun. I am legitimately angry. I may break some things. I'm going to vandalize. You know what? I'm going to try being a Kia boy. That sounds fun. Free cars.
That's a random pull, but go for it, Bart. Times are hard right
this
now.
ending sucked.
Yeah, you know, it is WWE, so, you know, they're always going to pull the rug out from underneath you when you think you've got something. But I don't know, maybe somebody said CM Punk. Maybe that's the guy to take out Roman.
God, how many chances can one person get? I'm all about second chances. I ain't about ninth chances.
I don't know. I'm kind of on Punk's side in that whole thing.
All right, Jake, thanks for coming on tonight.
It was a blast, man. As much as somber as it was.
Fucking pissed off. But we'll all be back 7 p.m. USA Network for Monday Night Raw.
Oh, yeah, because, you know, we're idiots.
We are idiots.